Hello, my name is Austin, aka FFJmon, and in today's video we're going to be going through my list of all-time favorite Pokemon through all the different generations. I hope you enjoy the video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel at FFJmon. And I thought this would be a cool first video because it would not only show my favorite Pokemon, but also I could talk about my history with the Pokemon franchise, the reasons why I wanted to start this channel, and also my plans for the channel moving forward. And before we start, I also wanted to show off my Pokeball that I crocheted recently. It's one of two that I've crocheted, and I actually used it for like the logo of my channel, and I thought I'd include that back there just to show you guys. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get started. Alright, so one of my friends showed me this website. It was made by a guy named Cajun Avenger, and it's basically like an ultimate favorite Pokemon picker, and you basically get to go through all the different generations and types and pick out your favorite Pokemon. And I thought I'd just go through that with you guys and show you my list of favorite Pokemon, and we can just go through it together, have some fun, and also just talk a little bit about my history with Pokemon and the plans for this channel. So let's go into it. Alright, so it basically just by row goes through each generation up to Gen 9, as well as each type of Pokemon. And we'll just go through and pick my favorites here. And now with any list, this is subjective, so all these picks are subjective to how I feel about these Pokemon and my favorites. And it'll be cool to learn about why I've chosen them, and hope you guys enjoy. Please let me know what you guys have as your favorites, and I'd love to hear which Pokemon you guys have had an affinity for throughout all these years. Alright, so let's start with the normal type for Gen 1. Ooh, got some good ones here. So I started playing Pokemon back in Gen 1. I have an older brother, so we played the original Red and Blue games on the Game Boy. So yeah, I don't know. Normal type, definitely tough, but I think I'm probably gonna go with, yeah, see, these are good ones. Got the Pidgey line, got Fearow and Sparrow, got Jigglypuff classic from the anime. I don't know, this is a tough one. Kangaskhan's always been really cool. I like Kangaskhan because searching for him in the Safari Zone was always tough. Him and Chansey, but yeah, let's see. Oh, and another rule for this video is I'm not going to do duplicates. So, for example, for dual types, like Pidgeot is a normal and flying type. If I put Pidgeot for my normal type pick, I can't pick Pidgeot also for my flying type pick, just to kind of diversify and not have any duplicates for like Pokemon that are my favorite. The only chance where that can be duplicated is the starter. So if a starter ends up being one of my favorite, that's, let's say, fire type, I chose like Charizard, then if Charizard was also my favorite starter, then I could also put Charizard. So that's kind of the one where I can have a duplicate, as well as obviously like the favorite, because I pick from each of these to decide what my favorite is. Yeah, I think overall, I don't know, Pidgeot is just such the classic, like, starter or starting bird, on their first route, and I've always thought Pidgeot was, like, really cool. And obviously, like, Pidgeot was pretty big in the anime, and I think I just have a lot of memories, like, using Pidgeotto, and Pidgeot. And, yeah, I don't know, I just think that hair on Pidgeot is just so majestic. I think I'm going to definitely do Pidgeot as my favorite normal type. But honestly, wait, let's go to flying. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna do Pidgeot, my favorite normal type. So, fire type. I already know this might be controversial, but my favorite fire type from Gen 1 is actually Magmar. Now the reason why it's Magmar is because one, I think he's just so cool, the volcano Pokemon, and plus I used to watch on VHS the episode where Ash would fight against Blaine, and Blaine's Magmar versus Ash's Charizard was always just such an iconic episode, and I would watch like that 2 episode arc like over and over again, and Magmar is just such a cool Pokemon that I have to put Magmar for fire type. Alright, let's see, let's do water. There's a lot of water types in Gen 1. A lot of water types. Now I would replay the Gen 1 games pretty frequently, whether it was like Fire Red, Leaf Green, or Red and Blue back in the day. And yeah, I mean, I like all 3 starters, like Blastoise, Charizard, Venusaur. So it's tough not picking, because like Blastoise is just so iconic. But honestly, this might be controversial too, because there's so many different options. I've always loved Kingler and Krabby. Like, I thought these guys are just so cool. And yeah, I know Ash had a Krabby and Kingler in the anime, and plus, like, I love the noise, that the sound animation that they had for Kingler was so cool, and I thought it was really funny. I can try to do it. It's like that. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Kingler. And I know, like, he wasn't very viable, like, playing with, because back before Gen 4, when they didn't do the physical special split, and they had your type kind of determine whether your moves were special or physical. I think the problem with Kingler was that he had a very high attack stat, but since he was a water type, all of his moves were special. But obviously, like, Gen 4 onward, they fixed that, but so he wasn't like super viable. But I just think Kingler is such a cool Pokemon, and he's like a king crab. He's got that giant claw. I'm gonna go with Kingler. Alright, grass type. So like I said, I can repeat if I wanted to pick a starter. I can also, you know, pick the starter, and then if that starter is my favorite, put them at the end. Yeah, I mean, all these grass types are good, but I gotta go with Venusaur. He was my first starter. Definitely a pretty OP grass Pokemon. I'm gonna have to go with Venusaur. For sure. I mean, plus he's like a dinosaur. Like, dinosaurs are so cool. Alright, let's go to electric. Yeah, electric. Yellow's my favorite color, so always love the electric type. A lot of Pokemon are yellow that are electric. Pikachu, classic, obviously. Jolteon, very fast, very cool. I think I really like Electabuzz. He's kind of like, you know, Magmar's counterpart, and I don't know, he's always very cool too. And I know he has, like, I can't do his noise that he does in the anime. I'm gonna botch it, but his sound is pretty iconic. I think I gotta do Electabuzz. He's just so cool. Ice type. Ice type. Let's see. Oh, and I guess another one where I'm gonna try not to, but if it's like pretty obvious, I might. But like for the legendary, I think I'll also do a duplicate of that. So like if I, you know, chose Articuno as ice, I could maybe also choose Articuno as my favorite legendary as well. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think we'll have many of those. I think ice type. I'm gonna have to go with Cloyster. Cloyster's so cool. Love his design. Kind of looks like Gengar a little bit with his like facial features, but he is a cool water ice type. And I always thought he was a very cool Pokemon. I'll go with Cloyster. Fighting type. Let's see. See, I had trouble with the Machop line just because, like, especially nowadays, like if you replay like Fire Red, Leaf Green, or Red and Blue, like on your Game Boy, and you need to trade with someone in order to evolve into Machamp, and yeah, I don't really have that capability. So if I were to like play these games now, like, and even like back then, like I had a brother and we could trade and stuff, but I don't know, I always had trouble with the trade Pokemon. So Machamp is really cool, but I never really like used him a ton. Primeape's pretty cool. I think I never really used Poliwrath. Poliwrath is pretty cool. That episode in the anime where Ash's Charizard loses to Poliwrath and then ends up coming back and beating him a little bit later on, but yeah, that's a tough one. But honestly, I think it's just between Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee, because yeah, you get these from the Fighting Dojo in Saffron City. Honestly, I think Hitmonchan is just so cool. Like, yeah, not only was a pretty overpowered like Pokemon card back in the TCG in its early days, but I mean, just in the game too, like the fact that he could learn like all the different elemental punches, like the Ice Punch, Fire Punch, you know, the more punches, like I just thought his punching moves were just really cool. So I think I'm gonna have to go with Hitmonchan. Poison. Whew. A lot of poison types in Gen 1. That's why Psychic types, one of the reasons why Psychic types are very overpowered in Gen 1. A lot of poison types to be weak against. Ooh, let's see. I may have to come back to this one because I know a lot of these are dual types, and I may like use some of these in some of the other like types, so depending on what I do for those, I may have to change up poison. But I can't do Venusaur because I already picked him for grass. Never really a big fan of Beedrill. I don't really like bees. Let's see. Arbok's pretty cool. Not the best, though. I really like Nidoqueen and Nidoking. They're definitely pretty cool. Oof. Muck is cool. Gengar's cool. But, yeah, let's just get Gengar out of the way. He's Ghost, for sure. He's the only Ghost. So we'll do him. So we can't use him for poison. I like Crobat better than Golbat, so I don't think he's going to go in here. Ooh, maybe let's do Grass type first and then go back, because some of these are also Grass types. So let's do Grass and then go back to poison. Or we already did Grass, I'm sorry. What's in Ground type? Yeah, okay. Let's do Nidoking Poison. I mean, Nidoking is just such a cool Pokemon. Very cool. Let's do Nidoking. And Ground type. See, same with Geodude. Like, I always thought Golem was pretty cool, but also a trade evolution. So I never really used him that often, but he is a pretty cool Pokemon. I have a really cool, like, Pokemon card of him. So he's pretty cool. Dugtrio is pretty cool. Very fast. I was always a big fan of Onix. And then, yeah, you got Rhyhorn, Rhydon, Marowak. Yeah, what are we doing here? Yeah, I don't know. Golem's pretty cool. I mean, he's just a giant rock. But would he be rock type? No, I think I can do better rock types for there. So let's do Golem for ground type. He's pretty cool. Alright, flying type. Flying type. Actually, okay, first let's go to Dragon. Let's get Dragon out of the way. Obviously Dragonite. Very cool. Let's go back to flying. Let's see. Well, let's look actually. Bug type. Pinsir is pretty cool. Kind of scary. Butterfree, obviously iconic. Classic Pokemon. If I don't know. If I were to, it would either be between Butterfree or Scyther. Scyther was always cool. But honestly, I think Butterfree. Butterfree's just so iconic. I mean, bye-bye Butterfree. Do I have to say anymore? Alright, flying. So that got rid of a couple options here. Flying type. Yeah. Honestly, I think I'm gonna go with think I'm gonna go with Aerodactyl. No. I think I'm gonna go with Charizard. Because, I mean, Charizard's just such a cool Pokemon. I know he's like a staple in Pokemon. Very popular. Sometimes, like, maybe a little bit too popular. Like, I know they really like to milk the Charizard. They like to use him a lot for stuff. And he always, you know, comes back in other generations. He's basically like Pikachu. Like, he's super iconic. But, yeah. We'll do Charizard. I think that's a good pick. Used him many times as a starter. Psychic. Definitely Alakazam. I mean, he's yellow. He's, like, super smart. I think they say his IQ is, like, the equivalent of, like, 1,000 supercomputers or something like that. I think that's his Pokedex entry for one of the games, but and his spoons and just, like, his look, like, he's a beast. Like, Alakazam is such a cool psychic Pokemon. Like, he's hard to beat. Rock type. I think rock. I'm going to do Aerodactyl. I mean, he's like a dinosaur fossil. I think he's one of the coolest fossil Pokemon. I think he is an iconic Pokemon, for sure. No dark types. So, let's just do missing now. The classic glitch of Gen 1. Steel, Magneton. Fairy. Not Mr. Mime. He's weird. Jigglypuff, for sure. Gotta love Jigglypuff. Very cute. Alright. Favorite starter. Not these two from Let's Go. I gotta go with my first starter. I like I said, all three are excellent, but my favorite, this might be controversial, but my favorite starter is Venusaur. He was my first starter. Loved using him. I do love turtles, though. Like, turtles are very cool. Charizard's like a dragon. He's very cool. Dragon, lizard. Like, I love lizards, love dinosaurs, love turtles. Like I said, these starters just check all the boxes. But I think in this case, I'm going to have to go with Venusaur, because he was my first starter. And he's just such a cool Pokemon. Gimmick form. Yes, so we got, you know, Mega Evolutions. We got Dynamax. This is tough. This is very tough. Some of my favorites are in here. Honestly, yeah, they're so good. If I were to, like, pick a top 3 in here, it'd probably be Mega Charizard Y. Because, like, I don't know, I just, like, yeah, Mega Charizard X is cool, and, like, the color aesthetic is cool, but, like, I feel like this is, like, a natural progression of, like, Charizard. And I love how they keep the color scheme, but kind of make him just more look like a dragon. And, yeah, he looks sweet. I feel like Blastoise is pretty cool, but I think they did just a little bit too much. Venusaur, didn't really do a ton with him. And I feel like that's kind of hard. But, yeah, I think Aerodactyl, no, it's just too much. I think it's Alakazam. Like, the fact that he's now has more spoons, and he's like a sage, like, wide sage that's, like, sitting down. Like, I feel like that's just, like, the epitome of, like, Alakazam. And I think it's this one. Mega Alakazam is so cool. Legendary. Gotta go with Mewtwo. I mean, the original top legendary Mewtwo. So now, favorite. Out of all of these that I picked, what is my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon? My favorite Gen 1 Pokemon, I think, has to be Venusaur. I mean, he was my original starter. Been through it all. Used him in X and Y when got to pick another starter from Gen 1. It's got to be Venusaur. Alright, so Kanto's done. On to Johto. Alright, Johto. Let's see. Normal type. I'm gonna have to go with... See, Johto's a little bit weaker, because a lot of these are babies, a lot of these are kind of, you know, evolutions from Gen 1 Pokemon. Kind of used to round out the list here, but not necessarily to add a bunch of new Pokemon, but no, Johto's got some good ones. I like Dunsparce. I always thought Dunsparce was cool. I think he's my favorite normal type. Alright, let's do fire types. Ooh, it's gotta be Typhlosion. Typhlosion's so cool. I don't think he was my first starter. I'm pretty sure it was for, yeah, I think Totodile was my first starter in Gen 2, and that would have been in Silver. Yeah. So water type, it's gotta be for Alligator. He's so cool. Grass type, I think it's Meganium. For as much crap as Meganium gets, I think Meganium's really cool. So there's all the starters for Johto right there. Let's see, electric type. Ooh. Right, that was pretty cool. Yeah, Ampharos, no. Elekid. Elekid's actually kind of cool. I feel like he's a natural of Electabuzz. Yeah, Elekid for sure. Plus in the anime, Paul had a Elekid, and yeah, he was pretty scrappy. Ice type. Yeah. Ooh. Either Sneasel or Delibird. But nah, Sneasel. Dark Ice type. Well, actually, let's go to Dark type. Yeah, it's fine. Sneasel. Fighting type. Ooh, Bug type. Yeah, okay. Wait, Steel type. Okay. Fighting type, Heracross, for sure. Bug type, Scizor. Steel type, Skarmory or Steelix. Steelix. Nice. Poison type, Crobat. Ground type. Ooh, actually. Sorry, Steel type, Skarmory. Ground type, Steelix. Flying type. Ooh, flying type. I already did Crobat. Delibird, Gligar, Yanma. Yanma is kind of cool. I like Yanma. Dragfly. Yeah, Ho-Ho and Lugia though. They're pretty, between Ho-Go, but they're also legendary. Ooh, flying type. Gotta be Lugia. Lugia is pretty sweet. Psychic type. Oh, he's a psychic type too. I think it's gotta be Espeon, just for all the Pokemon Coliseum playthroughs I've done. I never actually beat the game, but I remember I played it a lot. Never beat it. I do wanna beat it at some point. Maybe I can make a video about that. Pokemon Coliseum's a fun game. Let's see, rock type. Rock type, Sudowoodo. We got Shuckle. Ooh, Tyranitar, Macargo. Ooh, did I do Umbreon for dark type? Yeah, Umbreon for dark type. Tyranitar for rock type. I mean, he's Godzilla basically. You gotta pick him. Mischievous, ghost type. Kingdra Dragon. Fairy type. Granbull's pretty cool. Yeah, Granbull. Alright, favorite starter. Gotta be for Alligator. My first starter for Gen 2. Gimmick form. This one's easy. Mega Scizor. That guy is so cool. legendary. I know I already had him, but Lugia, 100%. Favorite. My favorite. Actually, you know what? I'm going to keep Lugia there. I'm going to change flying type because I'm going to also make a rule where you can't have legendaries duplicate as one of your types either. So legend will just be in the legend category. So we're going to switch this to... I like Noctowl. Noctowl is cool. I remember the anime episode where Ash beats, forget the guy's name, but the guy that had Gengar in Johto, and he used his Noctowl and Foresight to beat him. That's a great episode. So now, my favorite Gen 2 Pokemon is going to be... Scizor is so cool. So is Mega Scizor. I'll just do, just the standard Pokemon. So Scizor. He is so cool. Alright, on to Gen 3. Now, Gen 3, I played Gen 3 so much, and that's the one where I really, like, I played Gen 1 and 2 with my brother, but, like, Gen 3 is the one I, like, remember the most and have, like, the most fond memories of, and still play it probably. Like, I did a recent playthrough of Emerald. I'll probably post on the channel as well, but Gen 3 is just so iconic. So we're definitely hitting the nostalgia here for sure. Now, favorite normal type. This is probably going to be a little weird, but I like the slacking, slack off line, but I like Vigoroth better than slacking. I know he's like worse, but I just don't like slacking's ability, and like his design just isn't as cool as Vigoroth. So I think Vigoroth is my favorite normal type. He's just really cool. He's like a hyperactive sloth. Fire type. I can't believe there's not a lot of fire types in Hoenn, but it's definitely Blaziken. See, the starters, I think, in Gen 3 are just so good. They're just so good. A lot of water types for all that water in Hoenn. Let's see. Crawdon, see, they're cool, but not as cool as Kingler. Like, Kingler, I know it's a different kind of crab, but Kingler's just so much cooler. Let's see. I want to put... Swampert is so cool. I want to maybe put him, but he might go in the ground category, maybe. But Flygon's there. What about Dragon? Ooh. Okay. Here we go. So let's do Whale Lord. He's pretty cool. Let's do Swampert. Grass type. Yeah, I gotta go Sceptile. Like, such great starters. Those three are so iconic. Electric type. Magnetric. Ice type. Oh, I love Regice. I love Regice. But he's kind of a legendary. Actually, you know what? Yeah, no, I'm good with that pick. So actually, I think if I have you know what? If I have a favorite legendary, if I like a legendary that fits this type, but doesn't, we'll see. Because I feel like here, I definitely want to put Regice because like he's just the coolest ice type out of these. But I know he's a legendary technically, but I'm not gonna duplicate him here, so I think it's all right. I'm gonna put, it's my list. I'm gonna do that. Regice. Fighting. That'll be Hariyama. Hariyama's pretty cool. Alright. Poison. Sniper. What a cool snake. Ground type. Flygon. Flygon's so cool. Flying type. Dark Lugia from Gale of Darkness. Pretty cool. Flying type. Ooh. Bug type. Let's put a bug type for a sec. Oh. How do I get rid of that? There we go. Bug type. I don't know. Swallow. I definitely use Swallow a lot. Tropius is cool. This is tough. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna put Tropius for flying. And then I'm gonna do Salamence for dragon. Because Salamence is cool. Very hard to train, and you don't get it until pretty late in the game. Like, you can't get a Bagon until, like, I think you need to know Waterfall in order to get a Bagon in Meteor Falls. But he's definitely a tough one to get. But once you have a Salamence, like, they're so cool. So Salamence is dragon for sure. And Psychic. Yeah, so basically for Psychic, I'm not... Yeah. It's between Gardevoir and Metagross. But I think... Ooh, but there's Aggron. Yeah, see, this is where... Okay. Let's do this. Let's do Bug first. So Bug is definitely Armaldo. Very cool Bug rock type. Fossil. Very cool. Let's do Rock. Regirock's cool. Can't do Armaldo. Cradily is kind of cool. But it's the Aggron. Aggron is very cool. His Mega, though, was a little bit much, but his normal form, very cool. So Aggron was Rock. Ground was taken. So now let's do Steel. Yeah, so Steel is Metagross. So then Psychic is Gardevoir. So elegant. Ghost type. Dusclops. Yeah. Hard to beat Dusclops. Dark type. Let's see. We're gonna do Absol. I mean, the disaster Pokemon. His design is so cool. It's hard to beat Absol. Especially, like, with how they incorporated his lore into the game, and, like, he's the one that, you know, warns of the disasters of, like, Groudon and Kyogre. Like, I thought they tied him into the overall, like, aesthetic of the region very well. Fairy type. We're gonna do... Ooh. I could do someone else for Psychic and put Gardevoir for Fairy. You know what? I might do that. Let's do... Okay. Let's do Latias for Psychic. We're gonna do Gardevoir for Fairy. Yeah, that looks good. Starter. I mean, Mudkip was my first starter. My favorite. Swampert's so cool. I have a plush of him I can show you guys sometime. Swampert for sure. Water ground type. Such a good type. Great Pokemon. Gimmick form. So this one's tough. A lot of great Mega Evolutions here. Don't really like Swampert's Mega Evolution. I think the coolest one, in my opinion, I wish they did something better with Latios and Latias. I mean, they look exactly the same. I think my favorite is Mega Salamence. Yeah, he looks really cool. For sure. So now, my favorite legendary. is Deoxys, because he's just, I mean, he's an alien. He is so mysterious. His like battle with Rayquaza is iconic. I love the Destiny Deoxys movie. And my favorite form is actually the defense form. I just think he looks more like a robot when he's in defense form, and I just think he looks really cool. And I think overall, out of all of these, Deoxys is my favorite. Because like I said, he's just got that level of mystery and just overall like intrigue. And yeah, he's just, I remember I liked Deoxys a lot. He was just so cool. Gen 4, so yeah, this is what Gen 4 is cool. Ooh, sorry, I keep yawning. Alright, Gen 4. A lot of cool Pokemon. They definitely use this to round out like the previous gens. I feel like they kind of, Gen 1 obviously had a ton of Pokemon. Gen 2, like, Gen 1 had 151. Gen 2 had like 100. Gen 3 was kind of like, a lot of new Pokemon. Gen 4, they kind of were filling in the gaps. Like, I feel like they kind of, every other generation, there's kind of a, a bunch of new Pokemon. Oh, kind of some fillers. Oh, a bunch of new Pokemon. Oh, got some fillers here. And you can kind of see that as the regions go on. But Gen 4, it's very cool. Normal type. I think I'm going to go with Regigigas. I mean, he's the king of the Regis. Like, he's so cool. Doesn't have a cool ability, slow start, but overall, I really like his aesthetic and just the lore of him being kind of the king of the Regis. And finding him in Snow Point Temple was pretty sweet. You needed all the other Regis from the previous games to get him. I remember getting him in Pokemon Diamond. Fire type. Now, let's see. I'm not a big fan of Magmortar. I think they kind of botched the design a little bit of going from Magmar to Magmortar. So I'm not going to put him. Definitely going to be Infernape. The Fire Monkey. Like Ash's Infernape. I need to rewatch Diamond and Pearl, the anime. I haven't really seen it all the way through, but I know like how it ends and stuff. And I want to watch that arc of Infernape beating Paul's Electivire. Very cool. Water type. Water type, we're going to do... I think we're going to do not a lot of strong water types, to be honest. I never really liked Empoleon. That was my brother's starter, and he loved penguins, but not a big fan. I had Weasel a lot and Floatzel, but not really my favorite. I had a Gastrodon, I remember. Still, though, not really my favorite. Palkia is cool, but I think I'm just gonna do Rotom Wash. I think it's cool. He's a wash machine, a ghost that can take over machines. Grass type. Now let's see. I like turtles, but I don't know. Torterra just I wasn't like yeah he was my starter and I used Torterra, but I don't know. Over time. I just not a big fan. Not a big fan overall. Like just an armored turtle. I feel like they could have done more with him. And the giant tree on his back, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I know he's like the continent Pokemon, but I think yeah, I'm gonna do Weavile for ice and Abomasnow for grass. And yeah, they did a good job with Electivire. Do I just put the whole Electabuzz line for electric? Luxray is cool. Yeah, I'll do Electivire. Fighting type. Gallade. I mean, Gallade's very cool. Like Gardevoir, but a fighter. Poison. Toxicroak. I had him in my first playthrough. Poison Frog. Ooh, ground type. We're gonna do this dragon. Ground. It's legend. Okay, yeah. Okay. So, ghost. Okay, we're gonna do Giratina for dragon. Ground type, we're gonna do Garchomp. Flying. Staraptor is cool. Not like super cool, but kind of cool. Drifblim will be flying. Ghost, Spiritomb, Psychic. Ooh, let's see. Lucario, Fighting, Gallade, Psychic, Bug. Is Vespiquen. I know I don't like bees, but Vespiquen's pretty powerful. Rock is going to be Rampardos. I like dinosaurs. Dark. Ooh. Darkrai. Steel. We'll do Dialga. Fairy. Togekiss. Or is that? Yeah. I think it's Togekiss. Starter. Even though Turtwig was my first starter, I honestly like Infernape better. Just overall, because I played with him on a couple playthroughs too, and he's just, I mean, he's the only fire type basically in the game, and I just really like him. A fighting monkey, that's a fire type. Infernape. Gimmick form. We're gonna do Gallades again, that's just really cool. Legendary. Arceus, the god Pokemon. Overall, my overall favorite. Oh, I like Arceus. I need to finish Legends Arceus. I haven't done that yet, but I need to finish. Ooh, Regigigas. Spiritomb. I've never actually used a Gallade. I just think they're really cool. If Gen 4 didn't exist, but I had to pick one Pokemon to keep, what would it be? What would it be? I think I'm gonna do Arceus. He's just so majestic, and I think his backstory and the whole lore and everything with that is just, I really like it. Alright, Gen 5. I didn't play Gen 5. Gen 5 was kind of where I dropped off from Pokemon. Like, in my childhood, I was like 1 through 4. Gen 5, I kind of like, you know, got to the age where I thought I was too cool for Pokemon. And I eventually like played it later in life when I was an adult, but I never played it as a kid, like when it came out. And I kind of dropped off from Pokemon at this point until X and Y came out, and then it kind of brought me back in again. But this whole generation was just kind of like a gap in my Pokemon history. But yeah, like I said, I played all the games here in Gen 1, 2, 3, and 4. I, you know, had a GameCube, so I played Coliseum. I had the Pokemon trading cards that I would play a lot. Or I didn't play them, I collected them. And then now later, as I've become an adult, I decided to collect Pokemon cards too. But yeah, now, you know, just played all these recent games. I have Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, but I haven't played it yet. So I need to play that. But I pretty much played all the games besides Ultra Moon and either Black 2 or White 2. I have not played the sequel to Black and White, but I have played Pokemon White. And I have not played Heart Gold Soul Silver, which I bummed about because I was also kind of in this Gen 5 era. I have a copy of Soul Silver, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I need to try to see if I can get it working to play it. But yeah, that was kind of a missing generation for me.